Welcome to the Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald Talking Newspaper Podcast. As published on Wednesday the 29th of April 2026, read and recorded by volunteers for Bishopbriggs-based charity Cue and Review Recording Service for the benefit of local visually and reading impaired people. If you want to leave a message for Cue and Review, you can call 0141 772 3976, and if you want us to call you back, just leave your name and number. I'm on holiday next week, but hopefully my colleagues can mitigate my absence, and I'll be back the following week, the 13th of May. We hope you enjoy the recording. HGV trips raised by opponents. A report by Kevin McRoberts. Campaigners opposed to the proposed new Lindsay Academy being built on Whitegates Park have highlighted concerns over potential heavy lorry trips to and from the site. And Whitegates Park Community Group, WPCG, also insist the cost of the project is way over budget. The deadline to submit representations on the planning application for the new Lindsay Academy is this Thursday, April the 30th, with more than 200 having been registered. WPCG has consistently opposed the plans, calling instead for a tandem build on the existing school site. It has highlighted numerous concerns about building on Whitegates Park, with the volume of HGV movements in and out of the site the latest to be raised by the group. They have pointed to the Mason-Evans report, 2018, which indicated 4.1 metres of peat, high ground gas, and lead contamination on the Whitegate site, with this leading to the council's rejection for a smaller ASN school being built there. A WPCG spokesperson said, "To surcharge 4.1 metres of peat and raise the site out of the floodplain, engineering estimates dictate the need for roughly 40,000 tonnes of imported fill material. This would generate an estimated 8,750 heavy goods vehicle, HGV, movements through residential Lindsay, and 8,750 return trips empty. All this before even starting on building the school itself." The group also highlighted the cost of other school projects in Scotland, arguing East Dunbartonshire Council was paying way over the odds for a new Lindsay Academy. The group's statistics, adjusted to 2026 values, show the cost of Beauclair Academy, East Dunbartonshire, as £40.9 million, or £45,837 per pupil. Others include Peebles High School, Scottish Borders, costing £61 million, or £50,833 per pupil, and Perth High School, Perth and Kinross, costing £80.2 million, or £50,125 per pupil, compared to Lindsay Academy at £138 million, or £98,571 per pupil, roughly double the cost. East Dunbartonshire Council Chief Executive Anne Davey responded, "As detailed within the project planning application, approximately 40,000 metres cube of imported material will be used in the construction of the project." She added, "The majority of this will be used in forming pile mats for the site. The project also uses 12,500 metres cubes of site material as fill to reduce imported material. The exact number of vehicle movements associated with construction of the project will be determined through the detailed design phase of the project, which remains ongoing. However, an estimate of vehicle movements has been included within the planning application and is available to view in the planning portal. Delivery routes, times, and any other applicable restrictions are typically conditioned during the planning process. For the site at Whitegates Park, a new entrance is proposed directly from the A803, and we expect the vast majority, if not all, vehicle movements associated with the project to be made via the M80/A806 and directly into the new construction site from the new site access proposed." That article was written by Kevin McRoberts and recorded by Ian. This Week in History. May the 3rd, 1951, the Festival of Britain was opened by King George VI on a bomb site near London's Waterloo Station. May 4, 1974, ABBA reached the top of the pop charts with Waterloo, the Eurovision Song Contest winner. On this day last year, 8 men were arrested in 2 separate counter-terrorism police investigations that both involved Iranian nationals. The Home Secretary said they reflected the biggest counter-state threat and counter-terrorism operations in recent years. May the 5th, 1941, Emperor Haile Selassie returned to Ethiopia from exile in England after liberation of his country by British forces. On this day last year, TV presenter Lorraine Kelly said she was home from hospital and was recovering after undergoing preventative surgery to remove her ovaries. Kelly, 65, had keyhole surgery to remove her ovaries and fallopian tubes after a number of tests and scans. May 6, 1895, Rudolph Valentino, Italian heartthrob of the silent screen, was born in Castellaneta, Italy. On this day last year, food delivery giant Deliveroo agreed to a takeover by its US rival DoorDash in a deal worth around £2.9 billion. And that was This Week in History, read by Ian.
What a load of rubbish in Canal, a report by Kevin McRoberts. The weekend, April 25 to 26, saw a fantastic community effort along the canal, as the Forth and Clyde Canal Society, based in Kirkintilloch and founded in 1980, hosted a successful clean-up event. Volunteers focused their efforts on the stretch between Hillhead Bridge and the Millennium Bridge at the Marina, working together to tidy both the canal and its towpaths. Saturday saw 19 enthusiastic helpers, including society members and local residents, among them a cheerful group from Waverley Park, along with others from the wider community, even a couple who had travelled from Coatbridge to lend a hand. With the weather on the side, spirits were high as bags of collected litter steadily piled up along the canal, ready to be picked up by the boat Gypsy Princess as it passed by. On Sunday, a smaller but equally dedicated team of 8 volunteers returned, including 2 paddleboarders who took to the water to collect rubbish, particularly around the Millennium Bridge, where a surprising number of stray footballs were retrieved. The rest of the team worked from aboard Gypsy Princess, armed with litter pickers, gathering everything from bottles and cans to polystyrene boxes, balloons, crisp packets, and a few unexpected items like Christmas baubles, a coconut, and a rather cheeky plastic duck. Across the 2 days, volunteers collected an impressive 72 bags of rubbish, along with 8 shopping trolleys, 2 metal crowd control barriers, and a traffic cone. The Society thanked everyone who took part, including Scottish Canals, for providing some equipment and arranging waste collection, and to Anne and Linda for keeping volunteers refreshed with tea and coffee at the end of each day. The Society, known for operating the blue boats usually moored opposite the Stables restaurant, which are available for hire, hope to make these clean-up events a regular monthly activity. Anyone interested in getting involved with the litter picks is encouraged to get in touch via email at operations@forthandclydecanal.org.uk or by calling 07498 965 368. The Society has confirmed it will host boat trips for Bishopbriggs Community Day. To book tickets, call the number above. Follow the Society on Facebook for further events. That report was written by Kevin McRoberts and read by me, Nikki.
Ask yourself some simple questions before parking. This article was written by Julie Curry. NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde is once again appealing to readers driving to hospital appointments to park responsibly. The board appreciates that parking at its sites can be challenging at times. As a result, it advises people who are able to make use of the public transport that serves them. However, taking the bus or train is not a viable option for many people, so NHS GGC is urging people who need to drive to leave plenty of time before their appointment or shift to find a parking space. William Hunter, NHS GGC Estates and Facilities Deputy Director, said, "We are aware that, across NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde, parking can be challenging for patients, visitors, and staff. We'd like to thank the vast majority of those who use our sites for their patience and their consideration. However, once one person parks inappropriately, others follow suit, potentially causing a significant issue for emergency vehicles, public transport, and vulnerable people. If you need to drive to any of our sites, please leave plenty of time to find a space that's appropriate for you, and please ask yourself a few simple questions before you leave your vehicle. The advice is simple. Think twice when choosing where to park. Those simple questions are as follows. Am my parking in a marked bay appropriate for me? There are designated parking spaces available for patients, visitors, and staff, which are clearly marked. Is this space for holders of a blue badge? Please do not use these spaces if you do not have a valid blue badge. Is this a restricted area? Parking in these areas can cause delays and has a significant impact on patients, visitors, and staff. Parking in ambulance bays and other emergency areas restricts emergency access and has an impact on everyone accessing services. Restricted areas are clearly marked. Please remember that bus stops are also restricted areas. Am I blocking pedestrians? Parking on a pavement or in a pedestrian area forces pedestrians, including those with disabilities or other challenges with mobility, parents with buggies, and the elderly, to walk on the road, which also increases the risk of accidents and injuries. This article was written by Julie Curry and read by Erin.
Seagull Recruitment Event. A special recruitment day is being held at South Bank Marina in Kirkintilloch on Saturday, May 2. Seagull Trust Cruises is inviting readers across East Dunbartonshire to consider joining the volunteer crew. A spokesman said, "It's a great opportunity to learn more about our charity and try your hand at driving a canal boat. Everyone will be made welcome." Volunteer opportunities are currently available for a skipper, crew members, admin, office staff, maintenance, events and fundraisers for the charity. The open day will be staged on Saturday from noon to 3:30 p.m. Please drop in to find out more about this hard-working charity and its merry band of volunteers who do a power of work year-round. For those who are unable to attend but would like to be considered, call 0141 777 7165 or email seagullkirkintilloch@hotmail.co.uk. In 2025, Seagull Trust Cruises carried more than 3,900 passengers, many of whom had additional needs for free on its 3 specially adapted wheelchair-friendly boats which sail from Kirkintilloch Marina. Established 41 years ago, the Trust has more than 80 members who carry out all the work required, including skippering, crewing, stewarding, administration, training and maintenance. However, many hands make light work and the charity is now looking to sign up more helpers at its volunteer recruitment day. Visit https:// seagulltrust.org.uk/Kirkintilloch to find out more about the Trust and its work locally.
Cultivation Now Seized by Julie Curry. The execution of a drug warrant in Bishopbriggs has resulted in a huge haul of drugs being seized. A cannabis cultivation with a street value of £112,000 was discovered. Officers executed a warrant at the property on April 21st as part of ongoing action to tackle drugs misuse and associated criminal activity. During the search, a cannabis cultivation was discovered in the property. The plants and associated equipment were seized. Inquiries are ongoing, but a man aged 34 has been arrested. Local Area Commander, Chief Inspector Liam Harmon said, "Drug supply and cultivation have a harmful impact on our communities. We will continue to act on information provided to us and take robust action where criminal activity is identified." Anyone with information on drug activity locally should contact Police Scotland on 101 or Crime Stoppers anonymously on 0800 555 111. The inspector also issued an appeal for information following a number of school buses being vandalised in the Kirkintilloch area. The incidents occurred overnight on Sunday, April 19th, when several buses used to transport school pupils were damaged. This vandalism has resulted in damage to vehicles and disruption to local school transport services. Local officers are carrying out inquiries and are keen to speak to anyone who may have witnessed suspicious activity or has information that could assist the investigation. In particular, anyone who saw people acting suspiciously near the parked buses with dashcam, doorbell or CCTV footage from the area at the relevant times, or who has heard information locally or via social media, is being asked to come forward. Chief Inspector Harmon said, "These acts of vandalism have caused unnecessary disruption to pupils, parents and school staff. We are keen to trace those responsible and would urge anyone with information, no matter how small it may seem, to contact us." Anyone with information is asked to contact Police Scotland on 101, quoting reference 1064 2204 26. Information can also be passed anonymously to Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. That article was written by Julie Curry and it was read by Jahan.
Tree removal at golf club. This article is unattributed. East Dunbartonshire Council will allow Lindsay Golf Club to build a new shed to store equipment, despite the development requiring some trees be removed. The golf club's planning application was delegated to officers who approved it subject to conditions. The golf club sought permission for the shed to be situated near the car park. It was found that this would result in the loss of some trees within the course, so a tree survey was carried out which resulted in the imposition of conditions intended to protect existing trees and mitigate the impact on biodiversity. In all other respects, the proposals were considered to be in keeping with planning policies and to present no adverse impact on the property or its surrounding area. Prior to construction, the Council's arboricultural officer and the contractor will meet to agree a biodiversity enhancement plan, including proposals for the planting of new trees, which will need to be approved and implemented within 1 year. This article is unattributed and read by Erin.
Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald for Wednesday, April the 29th, 2026. £1.29 million is approved for winter gardens by Julie Curry, reporter. The restoration of the A-listed Springburn Winter Gardens has taken a significant step forward. It has been announced that the project has received a £1.129 million funding award from the Regeneration Capital Grant Fund, RCGF, which was accepted by a Glasgow City Council committee on Thursday, April the 23rd. This project aims to transform the Winter Gardens in Springburn Park from their current state as a derelict ruin through stabilising and partially restoring the building. A programme of structural repair and conservation works will create a living ruin that will become a community asset with an urban croft providing heritage learning opportunities and community growing areas. The project is being led by the Springburn Winter Gardens Trust, a charity which was established in 2013. Springburn Winter Gardens was built in 1900 and was in active use until 1983, when a storm caused severe damage. Planned demolition was stopped in 1985 when the building, the largest such structure in Scotland, was granted listed status. The RCGF programme, developed in partnership with local authorities in Scotland who submit proposals for funding for projects in their areas, supports projects delivering large-scale improvements to deprived areas. The programme focuses on sustainable regeneration projects that engage and involve local communities. A number of RCGF-supported projects in the city, including Govan Old Church, the Glue Factory, the Meat Market Sheds and the Pipe Factory and the Social Enterprise Centre in Postle Park, are already approaching completion or have passed significant stages in their delivery plan. George Gillespie, Glasgow City Council Executive Director for Neighbourhoods, Regeneration and Sustainability, said, "This funding award is a key milestone in the plans to restore the A-listed Springburn Winter Gardens, a project that could act as a catalyst for further regeneration in this part of the city. When complete, safe public access to the Springburn Winter Gardens will once again be available, with the building to be used by the community in a number of ways, as well as offering educational, environmental and cultural programmes." Chairman delighted. News of the funding boost has been welcomed by the Board of Trustees at Springburn Winter Gardens Trust. Celebrating the news on the Trust's social media pages with a special video toasting the award, Paul Sweeney said, "I'm absolutely delighted that Springburn Winter Gardens Trust has secured more than £1 million in funding to begin long-awaited renovations. This investment, along with Pride in Place funding, is a massive opportunity for development, and I'm excited to see the site restored and open for the community to enjoy once again. I'd like to thank everyone who has supported us and made this happen." Paul co-founded the Trust and has been instrumental in leading efforts to save and restore the A-listed, formerly derelict glasshouse in Springburn Park since 2013.
iServices on the road, a report by Julie Curry. Specsavers Home Visits local iService has introduced 9 new cars to its fleet, which will allow the team to accommodate up to 400 more customers every week. Each of the Home Visits cars are equipped with equipment with a mobile fitting case and testing kit, which facilitates a full and comprehensive eye health check, as well as all the necessary tools for prescribing glasses. Cars also have holding frame cases for both male and female customers, with up to 90 pairs of frames that are available for trying on during each visit. This expansion coincides with a significant shift in how the business delivers clinical excellence, moving hospital-grade care directly into living rooms of those unable to visit a store. Lucy McGee, optometrist director at Specsavers Glasgow Home Visits, said, "The introduction of these updated branded cars to the busy roads of Glasgow drives local visibility, as previously people weren't aware our service was and what was available to them in their own home area. Working in domiciliary is such a more personal experience. Being able to help someone who is housebound return to their hobbies through a simple pair of glasses is one of the most rewarding parts of the job. With more cars, the team can run more clinics and, in turn, reduce wait times. The new cars are also fully branded, so easily recognisable on the road. Having the branded cars also provides reassurance, especially to elderly customers who are understandably reserved when welcoming a new face into their home. With a growing home visits team, Glasgow Home Visits, which covers most of East Dunbartonshire, is positioning itself as a leader in hybrid optometry, balancing a modern high street presence with a dedicated mobile clinic. Specsavers' team of experienced mobile opticians provide a comprehensive eye care service, and customers can benefit from a free NHS-funded eye test, a wide selection of glasses and high standards of care, all from the comfort of home. For more information or to book, call 0800 198 1132 or visit www.specsavers.co.uk/home-visits. That report was written by Julie Curry.
Even the weather didn't dampen centenary fun. This article was written by Julie Curry. A wee rusty nail concocted by Centenary Captain Jim Smart saw Hayston Golf Club Centenary Open Day start with a mighty fine swing. Jim and club captain Brian Taylor both had a wee toast before a 2-ball better ball starting at the 10th hole and finishing at the 18th. The day started with Brian driving off the first ball, and what a drive it was too, straight down the middle and long, said Jim. He said he never felt so nervous. Despite the weather not playing fair on Saturday, April 18th, the Hardy Bunch managed to complete the competition. Jim said, "I was so happy to see everyone facing the elements and would like to thank everyone who played." The opening day team trophy winners were Daniel and Martin McInnes with a fantastic score of 29, while the nearest the pin at the 18th prize went to Kenny Craig. The centenary flag raising ceremony was held at 4 p.m., with Brian and Jim doing the honors. "I gave a short speech on our history and thanked the volunteers who made the day a success," said Jim. "My thanks go to Alan Brown and his team for all their help and preparation." Members then retired to the lounge where Christine Main announced the results and presented the prizes. Vouchers totaling £310 were donated by the Addison family in memory of past Captain Douglas Addison, who passed away earlier this year. An auction was hosted by club professional Chris McLean for several prestigious courses and a skip hat, gloves, and golf balls signed by the great Bob McIntyre, donated by a member. Jim said, "The raffle took in £1,195 and the auction £2,970 for the Centenary Fund. It was a fantastic effort by our members, and I thank them all for their generosity." The club would also like to thank member Clyde Ground Investigation owner Callum Bissett for designing and paying for the new Hayston Golf Club signage and display. Jim added, "It's Callum's design, and the greens team helped turn it into a reality at the putting green. You can also see it from the 18th, as the signage is on both sides. It's a clever design and a lovely donation. The committee is incredibly grateful for Callum's support." This article was written by Julie Curry and read by Erin.
Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald for Wednesday, April the 29th, 2026. Adams knocked on many doors by Kevin McRoberts, reporter. Scottish Liberal Democrat candidate for Strathkelvin and Bearsden, Adam Harley, said that campaign is one of the biggest in Scotland, having knocked on more than 16,000 doors since the start of the year. There are 59,545 registered electors in the constituency of Strathkelvin and Bearsden, spread across 32,293 households. The Scottish Liberal Democrats have now knocked more than 16,000 doors since January the 1st. Adams said, "Since the start of the year, my team and I have knocked on more than 16,000 doors. That's half the constituency. That means that this is one of the biggest election campaigns in the country. Neither Labour nor the Conservatives are running real campaigns because they know that only Scottish Liberal Democrats can beat the SNP in Strathkelvin and Bearsden. This is my community. I grew up here and I'm now raising my family here. So I love getting out on the doorsteps and talking to people about the issues that matter to them. People have told me that they are frustrated by how far they have to travel to get to medical appointments and how hard it is to find a GP. They are outraged at the state of the roads and they are frustrated that Scottish education is not what it once was. Adam said his focus was on tackling issues people cared about, like fixing the roads and putting more staff in GP surgeries and more pupil support assistants in classrooms.
Pothole Fund to repair our roads. The Scottish Conservative and Unionist candidate for Strathkelvin and Bearsden has welcomed the party's plan to introduce a national pothole action fund, providing Scotland's cash-strapped councils with the resources to repair local roads properly. Dr Pam Gosal backed Scottish Conservative leader Russell Finlay's plans to tackle Scotland's pothole epidemic, which she described as a symbol of 2 decades of SNP incompetence. Pam said that the Scottish Conservatives' common sense plans would allow for proper curb-to-curb resurfacing of roads instead of relying on sticking plaster repairs and the purchase of state-of-the-art equipment to ensure the potholes didn't return. She added that in Strathkelvin and Bearsden, the state of the roads is utterly appalling and dangerous. Local motorists are left dodging craters in these pockmarked roads because SNP ministers aren't giving councils the money they need to fix them, she claimed. The Scottish Conservatives would fix this crisis by introducing a bold new national pothole action fund, which would give councils the money to do proper curb-to-curb resurfacing and buy new equipment to prevent the return of potholes. It's blindingly obvious that out-of-touch SNP ministers at Holyrood hold drivers in contempt from their low-emission zones, hiked parking fees, threat of new boundary charges, failure to fix potholes, and inaction in dualling key roads. If I am elected, I will continue to stand on the side of hard-pressed motorists because having a car is a necessity, not a luxury, for many people.
As published on Wednesday the 29th of April, family announcements. Deaths. McLuckie, Colin. Peacefully, on April 15, 2026, at Campsie View Nursing Home. Beloved husband of Rena, a much-loved dad, granddad and great-granddad. Funeral service will take place on Wednesday, May the 6th, 2026, at Bishopbriggs Crematorium for 10:30 a.m. Family flowers only, please. In memoriam. Lang, Mary. In loving memory of Mary Lang, died May the 2nd, 2023. Always in our thoughts. From Loudy, Graham, Paula and family. Birthdays. Happy birthday, Sheila Aldridge. Happy 90th birthday to a very special mum. Lots of love from Tom, Anne and David. XXX. And that was this week's family announcements, dated Wednesday, the 29th of April.
Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald for Wednesday, April the 29th, 2026. Emergency teams tested their response at airport by Julie Curry, reporter. Glasgow Airport successfully hosted a multi-agency emergency training exercise last Thursday. Carried out between 7:30pm and 11:30pm, it was part of the airport's ongoing commitment to safety, resilience and readiness for any emergency situations. The exercise simulated a controlled incident scenario within the airport, allowing emergency responders and airport teams to test operational response, communication and coordination in realistic conditions. Crews from Glasgow Airport Fire and Rescue Service, ARFFS, worked closely alongside colleagues from the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service, supported by partners from across the airport. The scenario involved a simulated vehicle fire in the multi-storey car park and required coordinated command, control and response arrangements in line with joint working principles. Fire appliances operated with blue lights, firefighters wore breathing apparatus, Fire hoses were deployed with water used and a short element of synthetic smoke was introduced to enhance realism. Certain areas of the car park were temporarily cordoned off to ensure safety, while covered pedestrian routes remained open to allow continued passenger movement. Part of the airport's emergency planning programme, the exercise provided an opportunity to rehearse procedures under evening operating conditions, while ensuring minimal disruption to passengers and operations. Laurie Wiley, Deputy Airport Fire Manager, said, "This exercise provided a fantastic opportunity to work side by side with our colleagues from SFRS, allowing us to test the principles of joint working. Effective interoperability is vital when responding to emergency events, and this exercise offered a valuable platform to refine our procedures and ensure we are ready to deliver a rapid, coordinated response to any eventuality. The safety of the public and the protection of essential infrastructure remain our absolute priorities. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to everyone involved, particularly the crews from ARFFS and SFRS who took part, as well as those who carried out significant work behind the scenes to make this exercise such a success." Matthew Wilson, Airport Technical Director, said, "Safety is our highest priority, and exercises like this are essential in ensuring the airport remains fully prepared for any scenario. Training alongside our emergency service partners in a realistic operational environment enables us to test procedures, strengthen coordination, and continually improve our readiness. I would like to thank everyone involved for their professionalism and cooperation, as well as passengers and members of the public for their understanding while the exercise was taking place." SFRS Area Commander Eddie Kenner was also grateful for the opportunity to join with airport crews for the multi-agency event. He said, "Unique exercises like this provide us with the opportunity to train in the most realistic environments possible, while strengthening our operational readiness and collaborating with emergency partners to keep communities safe."
The Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald letters page, date Wednesday the 29th of April 2026. Let's talk. Please send your letters via email to kirkyherald@jnscotland.co.uk. That's KIRKYHERALD @JNScotland.co.uk. Please write letters in the subject field. Please keep letters to a maximum of 300 words. Letters cannot be published without a name and postal address. Also include a daytime phone number if possible. We reserve the right to edit any letter. Take action for mental health. Sir, as Mental Health Awareness Week, Monday, May 11th to Sunday 17th, approaches, I would like to encourage readers to join us in taking action to support their mental well-being. We have been running Mental Health Awareness Week for 25 years, helping to break the silence around mental health and promoting an openness which has improved people's lives. But awareness alone isn't enough. This year, we're focusing on action because the small things we do each day can make a big difference to how we feel. Whether that's asking for support, taking time to do things that are good for your well-being, or checking in on someone else, when we each take small steps, we build a sense of hope, connection, and momentum. Together, we can shape our workplaces, schools, and communities so that everyone feels supported. And by showing what's possible in our own lives, we can help push for the bigger societal and cultural changes needed to make good mental health a reality for all. Visit mentalhealth.org.uk/action. That's mentalhealth.org.uk/ACTION for information, resources and advice, as we encourage you to take action for good mental health this Mental Health Awareness Week, for yourself, for someone else, for all of us. Yours, etc., Alexa Knight, Director of Policy and Influencing, Mental Health Foundation. Home to roost. Sir, away back in 1977, when Prime Minister Jim Callaghan appointed his son-in-law as ambassador to the USA, I introduced a bill to the House of Commons calling for ambassadorial appointments to be made subject to parliamentary approval. Unfortunately, my bill never saw the light of day. The chickens have now come home to roost nearly half a century later. Yours, etc., Dennis Canavan, former MP and MSP. Call for EU return. Sir, economist John Maynard Keynes is credited with saying, "When the facts change, I change my mind." What do you do, sir? It appears that, to some extent, Prime Minister Starmer is aware of this as he seeks to pursue a reset of the UK-EU relationship and build closer links across economic, security and energy sectors. However, he is categorically ruling out a return to the EU, the single market, or the customs union. While he cites the long-term economic damage from Brexit as the reason for stronger ties, he is bizarrely rejecting rejoining the European Union, EU. This runs counter to public opinion. Recent polling indicates that around 55% of people in the UK would support the country rejoining the EU, while only 33% would oppose such a move. Brexit has been estimated to cost the UK up to £90 billion in tax revenue, money that could have gone towards improving public services. It has been a disaster, costing jobs, raising prices and harming our economy. Only last month, Chancellor Rachel Reeves highlighted estimates that Brexit has reduced UK gross domestic product by as much as 8%. The damage from Brexit is far from over, and the current Gulf War is simply adding to our woes. For Prime Minister Starmer to reject rejoining the EU, which is clearly in the public interest and supported by it, is highly reckless and irresponsible. Yours, etc., Alex Orr, by email. Cover up must end. Sir, every day in the media there are reports of violence, robberies, gang fights, sexual assaults, and much, much more. In the majority of cases, the culprits have covered their faces to avoid identification. We are paying our politicians far more than they are worth, so why have they not done something about banning face coverings? Do they really expect the police to be able to identify and arrest masked thugs? The solution is so simple that even our politicians should see it. A law should quickly be introduced that face coverings, including hoods, will be illegal. Any UK citizen defying the law should then be fined at least £1,000 and, repeat offenders, a spell in jail. Foreign nationals and asylum seekers wearing face coverings should not be given legal aid, but expelled immediately. Our politicians have been far too complacent for far too long, and it is time they earned their eye-watering salaries and gold-plated
£20 million appeal to transform care, by Julie Curry. A £20 million appeal to change how Scotland cares for children with life-limiting conditions has been launched by children's hospices across Scotland. The funds will allow CHAS to meet rising pressure on children's palliative care services and transform how the country cares for its most vulnerable children and families. Stays at the charity's 2 Scottish children's hospices have increased by 45% in the last 3 years, underscoring the increasing pressure on services and the urgent need for facilities and world-class models of care to keep pace with families' needs. The surge is being driven by medical advances, meaning more children and families need specialist support over longer periods, whether at home, in hospital or in hospices. CHAS supports babies, children and young people with life-shortening conditions and the families who care for them, providing specialist palliative care. For families, that can mean months or years of round-the-clock care, exhausting routines and constant emotional and practical pressure, while trying to protect ordinary moments together. More Than a Hospice is an urgent call to Scotland to recognise what children's hospice care really means today and to back a long-term plan to ensure families continue to have choice, support and comfort for decades to come. Rami Ukasha, CHA's Chief Executive Officer, said, "More Than a Hospice is a movement to rebuild, renew and reimagine what children's palliative care can be. We want to unite communities, medical professionals and policymakers behind a shared mission that every family has genuine choice and unwavering support during the hardest moments of their lives. Real choice is what we'd all expect to have when we're facing the most devastating times. Every week in Scotland, 3 children die from an incurable condition. CHAS provides unwavering care at every step on this hardest of journeys for families facing this devastating reality in our 2 hospices, in hospitals and at home. We welcome advances in medicine, which mean more children are living longer with complex needs, but too many families still lack real choice about where and how their child is cared for. This is our biggest ever fundraising appeal since Rachel House was built over 30 years ago. Back then, CHAS was founded thanks to the kindness and generosity of the Scottish public. Today, this More Than a Hospice appeal is an invitation for the people of Scotland to stand together again behind a simple belief that no one should face the death of their child alone. Caroline Johnston was introduced to CHAS when her daughter Isla was born in 2011. Isla lives with Edwards syndrome and has been receiving support from CHAS for the past 14 years. Caroline said, "Since Isla was diagnosed, CHAS has supported us as a family at Rachel House in Kinross. CHAS makes sure we have a choice in care for Isla. We feel part of a community of families who are going through the same challenges and experiences. CHAS and the Rachel House team have helped Isla continue to thrive and are always just a phone call away. I've phoned at midnight and during the day and they're always there. If I'm lying awake during the night worrying about something to do with Isla and need to chat to someone, I know I can phone CHAS. That truly is a lifeline." Isla absolutely loves the sensory room and going out for walks around the beautiful grounds. She's quite sassy and loves a bit of nonsense, but is also tactile and affectionate, and the staff all know her personality so well, which is great. The £20 million will allow CHAS to bring real choice to families by rebuilding Rachel House, Scotland's first ever children's hospice, as a modern, flexible space designed around the needs of today's families, including those caring for children with the most complex conditions. Renewing Robin House, so it continues to be a welcoming home from home where families can access specialist care and support. Reimagining care for the long term by strengthening children's palliative care, including closer working with the NHS and improving support for families at home at the end of life. CHAS is asking you to make your mark on a giant fingerprint tree. Each print is a pledge to support the appeal. Created in partnership with artist Marion Dukers, the visual will create a lasting reminder that no family should face the death of a child alone. Make your mark by donating today at chas.org.uk. That article was written by Julie Curry.
MP marks 200 years of modern railway. This article is unattributed. This year marks the bicentenary of one of Scotland's most important railways, the Monkland and Kirkintilloch Railway. It was the first railway permitted, by an Act of Parliament, to use steam engines for passengers as well as goods. The railway is recognised for its contribution to the development of Scotland's railway network and its role in linking the collieries around Monklands to the Forth and Clyde Canal at Kirkintilloch. Susan Murray, MP for Mid Dunbartonshire, commemorated the event by acknowledging the work of local historian Don Martin, MBE, and the Kirkintilloch and District Society of Antiquarians, which was behind the celebrations through an early day motion in the UK Parliament. Susan said, "I have known Don Martin and Kirkintilloch antiquarians for years, and their constant support for community events that share local heritage all over the area. It is a real privilege to be able to recognize Don's contribution in Parliament for posterity. I welcome the local groups and commemorative events taking place in East Dunbartonshire this spring, including the unveiling of a National Transport Trust Red Wheel at Southbank Marina, as well as contributions from the Lindsay Gage O Group, East Dunbartonshire Leisure and Culture Trust, the National Transport Trust, and all those involved in the work to preserve and promote this important heritage. I hope that the bicentenary will inspire renewed interest in Scotland's transport, industrial, and local history." This article is unattributed and read by Erin.
Milestone Year for Jazz Festival, a report by Julie Curry. Glasgow Jazz Festival will celebrate its 40th edition this summer with a specially curated programme of 40 performances celebrating the city's love affair with jazz. Taking place from June 10 to 14 June, the city's longest-running music festival will mark its milestone year with a series of special performances that reflect the festival's past, present and future. Returning to its spiritual home, the Old Fruit Market, as well as taking over stages at St Luke's, Oranmore and Drygate, tickets are now on sale. The citywide celebration of music, legacy and new talent will welcome more than 175 musicians. Founded in 1987, the festival started as a new addition to the city's art scenes and quickly attracted some of the greatest jazz names of all time, including Sarah Vaughan and Miles Davis. In the early 90s, the Old Fruit Market was transformed into a performance space by the festival. More than 30 years on, the venue remains central to its identity and will reclaim its rightful place in its heart. Jill Roger, festival director, said, "From transforming the Old Fruit Market into a much-loved venue and growing into a citywide celebration and hotbed for new talent, Glasgow Jazz Festival has always been about the connection, discovery and the shared thrill of live music." 40 years on, the festival continues to evolve, bringing together global icons, leading Scottish artists and the next generation of jazz artists. This year's programme reflects that journey, celebrating some of the music that we've shared for 4 decades, the moments that have defined the festival and the future of Scottish jazz. It will be a joy to return to our spiritual home for this 40th edition and welcome faces both new and old. The Old Fruit Market will welcome a vibrant homegrown showcase on Saturday, June 13, featuring some of the most exciting new acts in Scottish jazz, including SAY Award winners Kai Resu, new jazz vocalist Gaia, Glasgow artist Pippa Blundell, and contemporary jazz group Sequoia. Celebrations at the venue will continue on Sunday, June 14, with the expansion of the festival's new Jazz Weekends project, highlighting Glasgow's role as a magnet for emerging jazz acts. Legendary artists whose music is woven into the festival's history will also be featured in the programme. Trumpeter and composer Colin Steele will honour Miles Davis' 100th birthday at the City Hall's recital rooms. Colin played in the first ever edition and Miles performed in 1990 during Glasgow's year as City of Culture. Saxophonist Courtney Pine headlines St Luke's, reflecting the evolution of the British jazz scene over the past 4 decades, while guitarist Martin Taylor who performed at the very first festival, returns to the bill at Oranmore's Auditorium. More legends will be honoured across the week as vocalist Marianne McGregor takes on the Amy Winehouse songbook, while violinist Sinead Aitken and pianist Ben Shankland team up on Rhapsody in Blue, an evening of Gershwin. Tickets are on sale now at www.jazzfest.co.uk. That report was written by Julie Curry.
Good day to you. It's Philip here from Q and Review, reading the church news from the Kirkintilloch Herald. And first, we go to Milton Campsie Church. The Scripture Union Camp logo reflects the colours of Ecuador and the charity they will be supporting. Children and leaders have arranged a fundraising walk on June the 6th. School and university exams have begun. We remember our young people in our prayers. We are excited about the long weekend village festival and are delighted to be involved in this. 2 days of community fun and friendship, June the 20th and 21st. In Milton Campsie, we hope to have a Churches Together gazebo, as well as a sports labyrinth. Our April charity is Silver Birch Scotland, a non-profit charity and social enterprise who provide work-focused training opportunities to adults with learning difficulties. The month of May will be a busy month. Polling and Labyrinth, Christian Aid Week, General Assembly, Good Times, Cafe, visit to care homes, Go Mad Extra. We embrace it all with gratitude and open arms. And now to Springfield, Cambridge. The following are the intimations for the week, beginning April the 27th. On Sunday, May the 3rd, morning worship will be conducted by the Reverend Ian Taylor in the sanctuary at 11 a.m. The Sunday school will meet in room 2. An offering will be taken during the service. Place your offerings in the offering boxes as they come around. Morning worship is also being live streamed on Springfield Cambridge Church YouTube channel. A link to this can be found on the Springfield Cambridge Church website. All the W's, springfieldcambridge.org.uk, and on Facebook page, where up-to-date information about events and church organisations can also be found. Tea and coffee will be available in the church afterwards. There will be no vestry hour on Wednesday, April the 29th. There will be a short midweek service on Wednesday, April the 29th at 11:10, followed by tea and coffee. The church session meets in the Cambridge Chapel on Tuesday, May the 5th at 7:30 p.m. The University of Strathclyde Centre for Lifelong Learning are offering classes in Springfield Cambridge Church. All courses run between 10 a.m. and 12 noon, and anyone interested should visit all the W's mycll.strath.ac.uk to browse and book. And also you can telephone 01415482116. The remaining courses on offers are various ones about President Kennedy and the presidential elections and Martin Luther. But yes, check it out. And now we will go to St James Church in Bishopbriggs. There's a communion service on Thursday, April the 30th at 11 a.m. and on Sunday, May the 3rd at 9 a.m. in the chapel. At 10:30 a.m. on Sunday there is a sung Eucharist in the church. Everyone is welcome to come along to any of these services. Do stay on for tea, coffee and fellowship afterwards. The Thursday service and the 10 a.m, 10:30 a.m. that is, and Sunday service on Sunday, May the 3rd from 3 p.m. till 4 p.m. There is a session of crafty kids in the hall. All families are very welcome to come along and enjoy activities. A date for your diary: Tuesday, May the 12th. Tuesday Club at 2 p.m. Talk from the Fire Brigade. All welcome. There are also virtual services and groups. For up-to-date further information, refer to our social media. Facebook, St James LS Bishopbriggs. Website, all the W's, stjamesbishopbriggs.org.uk. Now to St David's Memorial Park Church. The service next Sunday, May the 3rd, will be led by Meg and Bill Lindsay and our worship leaders. Their theme this week is Despair is for Wimps. So if you're not in a hurry to leave after the service, please join us for tea and coffee afterwards. The Guild has now finished for the summer and will restart again in the 1st of September. However, the Friendship Club will meet every Tuesday in the garden room at 1:30 p.m. till 3:30. during May, June, July and August. Everyone is most welcome to come along to enjoy some good company, have a cup of tea and bring your knitting or crocheting, I think that's how you pronounce it. Our library, which is in the garden room, is now growing. Why not have a look and maybe borrow something of interest? There is also a children's library in the large hall. So there you have it. That's it. All the news from there, from Springfield, Cambridge, Milton Campsie. And now we move to St Mary's Parish Church. The service on Sunday, May the 3rd, will begin at 11 a.m. There will be an age-appropriate activities for our young people in the halls during the service. On Saturday, May the 3rd, we will be holding our monthly games time in the church. The church will be open from 10:30 until 1 p.m, when a great variety of board games will be available. Fun activities suitable for all ages are available. A light lunch will also be served. Fun for all the family. Wednesday welcome continues on Wednesday, April the 29th, when the church will be open from 10 a.m. till 12 noon. Tea, coffee, home baking and a warm welcome will be available during this time. At 11:30 a.m. there will be a short service lasting until 12 noon. On Wednesday, April the 29th, Soul Sanctuary continues in the church and provides a time of peace and quiet reflection. The church is open from 7 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. Torrance Parish Church. The morning service is in person is at 10:30 a.m. conducted by the minister. During the service, the youngsters meet together in Crest Junior Church, etc. And if you want to join in, torranceparishchurch.online.church. The cafe is open every Wednesday, 9 till 12 noon, for teas, coffee and delicious home baking. Why not come and taste for yourself? To find out about regular weekly activities, check out the website for what's on all the W's, tpc.org.uk. And now to Home Church in Lammermuir Road, Kirkintilloch. There are 6 other locations, etc. And the Home Hub in Kirkintilloch, Main Street, is open for tea and coffee 10 till 4 p.m, Tuesday and Friday. But where 2 or 3 are gathered, as my followers, I am there among with them. Worship services 9:30, 11:30 and 7:30 p.m. The upper room for worship and prayer. Morning worship services are followed by refreshments. A warm welcome awaits you all at services. Also children. Church is at the same time as the services. Monday 7:30 is fitness class, and Tuesday 9 a.m. heartbeat service, worship and teaching. Wednesday 7:30 p.m. home groups, various locations. Thursday 7 a.m. prayer meeting at the hub. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. drop-in recovery cafe at the hub. 7 p.m. home young adults united at Strathclyde University. 8 p.m. football. Friday youth fellowship 7:30 p.m. It's a bit early for youth. And the prayer meeting is at 7:30 p.m. also. Home radio is available every day. See Facebook page, Instagram and Home Church website for more information. And now to go to Lenzie Union Parish Church. The Sunday service led by Ada Younger on May the 3rd is 11 a.m. A live stream of the church service is available on YouTube. The meeting place is open for tea and coffee and home baking every Wednesday, 10 till 12 noon in the new hall. And that's the same as well for the Friday coffee pot, which is open on a Friday, 10 till 12 noon, so check that out. The Youth Cafe is on Thursdays, 3:45 till 5 p.m. Youth Cafe is a place where young people can hang out, relax and have a good time after a long day at school. Each week there is a free snack with lots of different things to do, such as games, consoles, table tennis, arts and crafts, board games and more. There is even space for completing your homework. And if you wish to join, please contact Kim by email, youthworker@lupc.org.uk. Respawn. Join us every Thursday 7 till 9 p.m. for a mix of Xbox, Nintendo Switch, classic games open to primary 7 to S1, S6. Come and play, chat and come along. And if you wish to join, please contact Kim, as I said, through that youth workers email. Now, Kirkintilloch Church of God at Regent Hall, Regent Street. There will be a family praise service featuring songs led by our praise band, video clips, and the speaker is Dr. Carol Smith. Refreshments will be served after the service. Everyone is welcome. On Wednesday, Coffee Corner is open from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Join our friends and neighbours for home baking and a coffee. A warm welcome awaits For up-to-date and further information on our services, check out their website, allthews.regentHall.org. And that's the service for the Kirkintilloch Church of God. And last, and not least, is St Cyprian's Episcopal Church in Lenzie. And their intimations are quite long. So each week, our main service of worship is a sung Eucharist on Sundays at 10:30 a.m. Our priest in charge is the Reverend Audrey O'Brien Stewart, usually takes the service. All are most welcome to attend. In addition to this, there is also a said Eucharist in the choir vestry on Thursdays at 10 a.m. To access this, please enter by the main door and walk up the aisle for a few steps. Go through the door on the left. Step 3, access can be arranged via the church hall entrance if needed. If the church door is locked, please use the hall door. We have a small Sunday school for children from age 4, which meets during the first half of the service. All children are most welcome to St Cyprian's, both in the service and or in Sunday school. There's a library with children's books available at the back of the church, as well as colouring materials available to use during worship. We welcome wriggling and noises as it reminds us of God's love for us all. There will be refreshments and a table chat in the hall after the service, live streaming via Zoom. If you're not able to come in person, you can join the service live on Zoom. Please visit www.stcyprianslenzie.com for a link and for more details. We are looking forward to welcoming Bishop Nick on Sunday, May the 3rd, to help us celebrate the sacrament of confirmation and sung Eucharist. He's going to tell us more about his bold new vision for the diocese becoming a church for everyone. We also have a couple of ecumenical events coming up. The first is on Sunday, May the 24th at 5 p.m, when Concordia, the ecumenical choir of churches in Lenzie and Kirkintilloch, will sing evensong to mark Pentecost. The second event is on Sunday, June the 14th in Peel Park. We will join together at 7 p.m. for Praise in the Park. St Cyprian's is a member of the Worldwide Anglican Communion. The Reverend Audrey O'Brien Stewart is our priest in charge. If you want to speak to her or contact her, check out her email, rector@stcyprianslenzie.com. General inquiries, info@stcyprians.com. So there you have it. That's all the church news for this week. Hopefully you can manage out to one of those meetings and just hear about what God has to say to us these days. So God bless you, and I'll be speaking to you in about a fortnight's time. Bye.
District News, Wednesday the 29th of April. Meet Betsy, an incredibly sweet 13-year-old Cairn Terrier crossbreed. A quiet abode is Betsy's dream. Betsy has settled well into foster care and has been a great house guest. She spends her days enjoying short walks, taking in all the sights and scents. She also likes to potter in the garden. Once home, she loves to jump onto the sofa for a well-earned snuggle. She is currently enjoying the comforts of a foster home, where her carer said, "Betsy is a very sweet and all-round amazing dog." Betsy could potentially live with another can dog with a similar nature. She could also live with upper primary school aged children and older. Betsy is very much a people's dog, so if you are looking for a loving pooch who wants to be by your side, Betsy could be your girl. For more information, go to Dogs Trust West Calder. Dogs Trust West Calder. Dogs Trust currently has hundreds of dogs in its care who are ready to meet someone like you. They are open to the public 5 days a week, and you don't need an appointment to visit. See dogs looking for homes, get advice, or apply to adopt. Visit www.dogstrust.org. Seniors Forum. Kirkintilloch and District Seniors Forum, our long-established forum, are looking for new members to join our monthly meetings. The objective of the forum is to assist in improving quality of everyday life for the elderly community, together with social events, guest speakers from NHS, council, local history, and many more. We welcome the over 55s to come along, have a chat, get involved, and meet new people, forming new friendships. We meet in the Park Centre, 45 Kerr Street, Kirkintilloch, G66 1LF on the last Thursday of every month from 10:30 a.m. to 12 noon. Tea, coffee and biscuits served. Friends of Forth and Clyde. Friends of Forth and Clyde meet every Friday from 12 noon until 2 p.m. at the Boat Users Block, South Bank Marina, Kirkintilloch. Everyone is welcome to come along and get a free cuppa and some friendly chat. No membership required. Canal Society. Forth and Clyde Canal Society are looking for volunteers to assist with servicing and maintenance of their fleet of vessels and volunteers to act as crew/stewards. Full training given. Contact operations at forthandclyde.org.uk or call 07498 965 368 for further information. St Columba's Hillhead Church Men's Club. Following another winter of successful Monday night sessions, which saw a number of new members join from both within the church and the wider local community, the new year saw members as usual enthusiastically competing to be champions in respective games, including snooker, table tennis, carpet bowls, pool, darts and dominoes, whilst enjoying tea, good banter and, all importantly, having a laugh. A very warm welcome will await anyone who would like to join this friendly band of brothers when the next winter sessions resume on Monday, October the 5th at 7:30 p.m. in St Columba's Hillhead Church Halls, Odell Road, Kirkintilloch. For further information, contact Secretary on 0141 776 5453. What's on? Exhibition, Monkland and Kirkintilloch, Scotland's first modern railway. Until May the 20th, Tuesday to Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m, close 1 p.m. to 2 p.m, Old Kirk Museum. The exhibition tells the story of the Monkland and Kirkintilloch Railway, which opened in 1826 and covered a 10-mile route from collieries in the Monklands to the Forth and Clyde Canal in Kirkintilloch. The exhibition is part of EDLC's Local History Month programme. The Straw Chair, a celebrated modern Scottish play by Sue Glover, first produced in 1988, which dramatises the true story of Lady Rachel Grange, who was kidnapped and exiled to the remote St Kilda Island in the 1730s. The play explores themes of female empowerment, mental health, and the collision of cultures, focusing on the interplay between the estranged, volatile Lady Grange and a naive young bride, Isabel, newly arrived from Edinburgh. May the 5th to the 9th, Turret Theatre. Tickets from www.ticketsource.com. Art Club Exhibition. Bearsden Art Club has been thriving since 1953 and will include paintings in oil, acrylic and watercolour, ceramics, textiles and sculpture. During the exhibition, we will have artists in residence, where visitors to the gallery can interact with members and find out more about the club. Lily Gallery, Milngavie, until May 14, Tuesday to Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m, and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Rockathon. Experience the ultimate 33-hour live music and entertainment event supporting children's health and well-being, presented by Rookie Rockstars. Friday, May the 1st, 1 p.m. to Saturday 2nd of May, 10 p.m. at Home Church. Cammy Barnes finale concert. For only £50, gain access to an intimate performance with rising star Cammy Barnes for the finale concert at Rockathon on Saturday, May the 2nd. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. Tickets from www.zeffie.com. Kirkintilloch Rock Choir. Are you looking to learn to sing? The Kirkintilloch Rock Choir is led by local vocal tutor Elaine Williamson. A local community choir first and foremost, we are also part of the National Rock Choir Network, which has provided some exceptional performance opportunities. Members of Rock Choir have met and sung in front of many celebrities and public figures, including HRH Prince William, the Fonz, Henry Winkler, and on-screen couple Ruth Langsford and Eamon Holmes. To book your feet singing taster session, check out www.rockchoir.com/join. Coldplay Candlelight Experience, St Mary's Parish Church, Friday, June the 12th, 10 p.m. Tickets from allevents.in. And that was this week's District News. Date Wednesday the 29th of April, read by Ian. Wednesday the 29th of April. Sport. Speedway. Tigers Exit Cup. Article written by Phil Lanning. Glasgow Tigers exited the Maxicab KO Cup on Saturday after defeat down south to Plymouth Gladiators. The Tigers had travelled to Devon with a narrow 47-43 lead from the first leg, but were beaten comfortably by 51 points to 39 by the Gladiators, who progressed to the last four of the competition with an 8-point aggregate score over the two legs. Glasgow boss Cammy Brown said, "Plymouth are a good side this season, but we didn't push them hard enough. Our top five matched their top five. The difference was from the reserve berths. They had a trump card in Daniel Klima. He was the difference. It's extremely disappointing. It was very hard to pass and our boys weren't getting out of the starts. I can't fault the team for effort. They literally tried everything in the pits with the setups. The boys rallied and kept at it with two late 5-1s from Kyle Howarth and Chris Harris. It improved at the end, but it was too little, too late. We are all gutted that our poor cup breaker continues. We had poor luck at Ashfield in the first leg with mechanical issues. The damage was done in the last 4 races in the first leg. We now have a huge meeting on Sunday against Edinburgh at Ashfield. We need to go up a level. It's a must-win fixture and we need the fans behind us." Report by Phil Lanning.
Barrett backs young footballers with donation. This article is unattributed. A group of talented young footballers have received a generous donation from local house builder Barrett Homes that coaches say will keep the team going. Garnkirk 2016 Football Club in North Lanarkshire has been nurturing young football talent since its players were just 3 years old. Now, some of the standout talent has joined a newly established standalone 2016 team with a firm focus on getting these talented young players to the next stage of their footballing careers. With ambition at the heart of the club's ethos, coaches Lee McTaggart, Alan Brown, Jerry Stewart, and Mark Griffiths are determined to give the boys the best opportunity to develop, play teams on a comparable level, and provide the right level of quality, focused training, and development needed to further progress the best-in-class team. In February 2025, the 2016 cohort decided to become a standalone team, allowing them to compete at the level they needed to continue progressing. The talented young team have been generously supported by Barrett Homes with a £500 donation that the club will use to fund the day-to-day running of the club, with hopes to purchase training strips. Lee McTaggart, Garnkirk coach, said, "The donation from Barrett Homes will make a real difference to us. It will literally keep the team going. Funding is vital for the day-to-day running of the team. We're very grateful for the backing from a developer investing in the local community." This article was unattributed and read by Aaron.
Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald for Wednesday, April the 29th, 2026. City sting the Jags with win by Paul McCabe, reporter. Glasgow City got back to winning ways with a fine 2-0 win away to Partick Thistle on Friday. A header from Emma Brownlee and an own goal from the Jags' Addie Handley ended a run of 4 games without a win for Leanne Ross's side. The result saw City keep up the pressure on league leaders Hearts, who remain top of the SWPL Premier League following their 2-1 win over Rangers at Broadwood earlier on Friday. City started well against Partick and had the bulk of the possession in the first half, finally making the breakthrough in the 32nd minute. Emma Brownlee dived to meet a pinpoint cross to power a superb header into the bottom left corner to open the scoring. The hosts responded with spells of pressure, seeing more of the ball and firing efforts towards goal, but after a steady opening to the second half, City began to assert control once again, building momentum as the search for the second continued. That second would come 20 minutes after the break as a low-driven cross found its way into the back of the net via a deflection. There was a superb late save from City's Lee Gibson to preserve a collective clean sheet before fresh legs were introduced in the latter stages of the game. Lisa Forrest, Natalie Roble, Sophia Mata, Maddie Earle and Louisa Boys all added into the mix with their energy piling further pressure on the Thistle back line as City pushed for a third goal. The final whistle confirmed a deserved 2-0 victory, which saw City leapfrog Rangers into second place in the table with just 4 games left in the league season. Now City have the chance to put pressure on Hearts with a home match against Celtic, with the Jambos at home to Partick tonight, Tuesday. The Hoops lost to Hibs last Friday, and City will be firm favourites to take the 3 points against the Hoops, who are out of the running in the title race, back in 4th spot in the table. The last time the two sides met, a late goal from Natalia Roble secured a point for City in a 1-1 draw at New Douglas Park in March.
Glasgow will host 2027 European Cross Country by Kevin McRoberts. European Athletics has announced that Glasgow will host the 33rd SPAR European Cross Country Championships in 2027, following a successful bid process led by UK Athletics, or UKA. Working in partnership with Glasgow Life, Visit Scotland and Athletic Ventures, UKA will bring the championships to Glasgow for the first time. It will be 24 years after the event was last staged in the UK, when the 10th edition took place at Holyridge Park in Edinburgh in 2003. Given Great Britain and Northern Ireland's historic success at the European Cross Country Championships, topping the medal tables across 3 decades with 201 medals, including 81 gold, competing on home soil will be a major highlight for British athletes aiming for podium finishes. The 2027 Championships will take place in the iconic Bellahouston Park, venue of the 1978 IAAF World Cross Country Championships. With a packed summer ahead, including Commonwealth Games in Glasgow and the UK hosting the European Athletics Championships for the first time in Birmingham, UKA is proud to continue showcasing the nation's strong track record in delivering world-class international athletics events. Jack Buckner, UK Athletics CEO on behalf of Athletics Ventures, said, "We are delighted for Glasgow to be awarded as hosts for the European Cross Country Championships in 2027. Cross country is at the heart of athletics in the UK, with many of our top runners beginning their journey on the muddy routes, making this an incredibly special competition to be hosting. We have a rich history of top performances from a Novuna, Jubi and NI team perspective, so bringing this event back to the UK, where it first began, will be one not to be missed. We know this championship will create an incredible atmosphere and showcasing why this country loves cross-country, and we cannot wait to get started." Glasgow Life Head of Events Julie Pearson added, "We're delighted Glasgow has been chosen to host, for the first time, the SPAR European Cross Country Championships, and look forward to working with partners to stage this prestigious event in 2027. Glasgow is renowned internationally as an expert, friendly host for world-class sporting events. Global athletics highlights that have demonstrated the city's strong track record include the 1978 IAAF World Cross Country Championships, 1990 European Athletics Indoor Championships, 2014 Commonwealth Games, 2019 European Athletics Indoor Championships, and 2024 World Athletics Indoor Championships. And the 2026 Commonwealth Games will further cement Glasgow's reputation as a trusted destination for showcasing exceptional athletics. Our city is committed to encouraging and inspiring participation in sport and physical activity to make a positive impact that benefits Glasgow and its communities. And leveraging the power of major sustainable and inclusive events is key to that. That article was written by Kevin McRoberts.
Second defeat in a row for Kirkintilloch Rob Roy. This article is unattributed. Kirkintilloch Rob Roy lost for the second Saturday on the spin with a disappointing 2-1 home defeat to Darvel. With Kilburney laid side idle, it was a chance for Kirky to leap Darvel and take fourth spot in the First Division table. Caldwell had returned for the home side in place of the suspended Jordan Perry, with Jordan Allen returning from suspension to take a place. But the best Rob Roy could muster was a late consolation goal, after the visitors had taken a 2-0 lead with a goal in either half. Darvel now have a 5-point lead over Kirky, although they have played 2 games more. It was another blow for the home side after the last week's loss to Whitlett's Victoria. The result sees Kirkleigh in 8th place in the First Division, with a chance to move up the table on Wednesday night when they travel to Burnside Park to play Muirkirk, who they trail by just a point and a place, though the home side have got 4 games in hand. Saturday will then see the Roy back on home soil when Cumbernauld United are their opponents, who sit just 2 points behind them, and will come to the Kirkintilloch Sports Complex fresh from their own Wednesday night tussle, which is away against Thornywood United. Results: Cumbernauld United 0, Muirkirk Juniors 2, Irvine Meadow 11-2, Whitlett's Victoria 1, Kirkintilloch Rob Roy 1, Darvel 2, Lanark United 0, Petershill 2, Neilston 4, Thornywood United 3, St Roch's 0, Ardrossan Winton Rovers 1, Vale of Clyde 2, Benburb 1. Fixtures: Wednesday, April 29, Muirkirk Juniors vs Kirkintilloch Rob Roy, St Roch's v Gartcairn, Thornywood United vs Cumbernauld United. Saturday, May the 2nd, Gartcairn v Irvine Meadow, Kilburney Ladeside v St Roch's, Kirkintilloch Rob Roy v Cumbernauld United, Lanark United v Ardrossan Winton Rovers, Muirkirk Juniors v Benburb, Thornywood United v Whitlett's Victoria, Vale of Clyde v Petershill. The author of that article is unattributed. It was read by Ian. That's the end of this week's recording. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to follow us on social media, we are at @Q&Review. That's @CUEANDREVIEW.